Hi everybody, it's Tony Underwood. I hope the holiday season is treating you right. I've got another Christmas song here for you, We Three Kings, and then maybe we'll talk about a few questions. I know I did a post the other day about questions to get to know each other, so I figure it's the best way for us to get to know each other over this long distance. So I hope you like the song. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with a royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again, King forever, ceasing and never, o'er us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising voices raising, worshipping God on high. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with a royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Myre's mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom, sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone cold a tomb. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with a royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, sounds through the earth and skies. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with a royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah, that's a little bit of a downer of a song, but, you know, talks about some good things. Well, I thought what I'd do is kind of talk to you guys and answer some questions and ask some questions to get to know you a little bit. So I actually I don't think it's from the same group, but they're all kind of the same. Excuse me a minute. They're all about questions you would use to just get to know people. So I'll try not to repeat some of the ones I already did. And so these are, boy, they get tough right away. The first one, and what I'd like you guys to do is I'll answer these, and then I'd like you to give me some of your comments. You answer them. And let me know a little bit about you. What's your philosophy in life? That's the first question. Boy, that's a question. I'll tell you, if you're ever out on a date with somebody, I don't know if I'd start with that one. But I do have an answer. I think it's changed a lot. I used to try to be helpful to others and do everything for them. But what I've realized is that until you have done everything you can for yourself, and I know that sounds a little selfish, but until you are where you should be and you're right with yourself, you really don't have a lot to offer anybody else. So, that's kind of my philosophy. I make sure I'm taking care of myself, make sure I'm doing the things that I was meant to do, and then that gives me a lot more perspective and a lot more energy and a lot more ability to help everybody else. So I do. That's a little selfish. I do take care of myself. I make sure I love playing music and acting when I can and those kind of things, and that's what I do. Let's see. What's the one thing you'd like to change about yourself? Well, I'm just too darn lovable. Yeah. So we'll change that. No, I think everybody's got a lot of, I guess, vanity things they'd like to change. I'd like to change. I think I take on projects and I extend the projects out too much. So I'm trying to change that. And when I have something I want to do, I do a real short time frame and I just get it done and get it out of the way. I got too many things open that I'm still working on and almost finished. And I think that might be a form of procrastination. I don't know, any of you head shrinkers out there, chime in, let me know. But I think it is. And I think for me, I have to be careful because once I know the rules, the game's over. So if I start something or start a project, I want to make sure I have my time and have my setup to where I can just jump in and do it and finish it up. And it might go on its own, but I won't be the one leading it because I just kind of put it aside and I've got something 90% done. Okay. Do I consider myself an introvert or an extrovert? And I would have to say yes, because I'm both. I really love being around people, and people around me always see me and say, oh my gosh, you love doing that. But I can only do that for a little while. I'm really an introverted person on my own. And I guess it's not to get away from other people, but I just like the peace, Mac Davis wrote the song, if you ever take a walk through the forest, sat a while amongst the trees. Yes, I did that a lot when I was younger. Of course, I lived out in the woods, so it was easy to do that. So I do like time alone to do things that are just solo, and it just helps me recharge my battery. So when I'm around family and around other people, then I can have a little something to give them. So I guess I didn't really answer that question, a sideways answer. What's the best phase in your life? Boy, that's a toughie. I think, honestly, right now, because, for me, life is all about, relationships, even with people you don't know out on the street, people you just meet. And I like this phase of my life because when I go up to people or meet them and I give them this look, they're either intimidated by me or they feel sorry for me and want to help me out, help the old man to his chair. So that's good because that kind of gives you a little starting point to engage. And I love doing that. I love engaging with people. I love having conversations. I love finding out about them. I'm one of these people that I know a lot of you wouldn't like to meet, because when I ask you how you're doing, I really mean it. I teach music and acting and things. And, you know, the little kids come in, sometimes the little first graders or something, and you ask them a question and they'll just kind of blow it off because they get asked that all the time. And they'll look at them and say, no, tell me something funny that happened today, or tell me something sad. Tell me the best thing that happened to you today. And once they open up, they have extraordinary stories, and everyone does. But I think we don't take the time with the younger kids to really let them know what they have to say is important. So I do that. This is the best phase of my life, I think. What was the worst phase in your life? And that's probably growing up until I left home. Just wasn't very good, not a lot of good memories and so forth. And I know everybody's had issues and things, so we'll just leave it at that. I made it out and I'm happy. Is what you're doing now what you always wanted to do growing up? Sort of. I wanted to be an actor, a singer, and I did that up until the point where you have to make that jump. And I tested those waters, but this was back in the olden times. I was a teenager, and I want you to just sit down for a minute. Nobody had a cell phone. And in fact, if you had a car, they used to have phones in cars. They called them car phones, yeah. If you had a car phone, you were pretty much banished. People just treated you like the tannin, like the old leather tanners of old, lepers. They didn't want to have nothing to do with you. But the other thing about that, there was no interwebs and all that good stuff. So you would have to leave your house by family and just take off, go to LA, New York. You could maybe make it in Chicago. There were some other places, but to really go into it. And two things stopped me. I really didn't have a good family growing up, so when I got a good family, you know, I'm not leaving this. But I didn't give it up for my family. I mainly, I'm really would work best in the 40s, back in the olden times, where when it's time for you to sing your song or do your scene, they say go, you run out there, hit your mark, say your lines, sing your song. I show up ready. And the continual practice and over again, it just robs me of any joy doing it. So the few things I did, I knew soon that that's not for me. And now I can pretty much perform anytime I would want to. Anytime I would want to, and do from time to time, and don't have to worry about any of that. But these days it's different. If any of you guys and girls want to go out and become singers, actors, it's a digital age. And in fact, we coach people on how to do that, and where to go to find out how to do that. So there are other things too. If you want to know, give me shoot me a comment, and I'll definitely message you with some information. I'm not selling you anything, and I don't expect you to come and take lessons because you probably don't live in Orlando. And there's a lot of good places in Orlando. But I can definitely get you in the right path. I can give you some resources that you can have a fantastic career right now. As part of what I'm doing here, I'm trying to promote myself in some respects, and this is kind of how you do it in the digital age. All right. What makes you feel accomplished? I mean, I think just doing a job well done and means getting it started, getting through it, finishing it, no matter what that job is. And the thing that really makes me feel accomplished is when I see people who I've been able to teach or see growing up go out there and, become successful themselves, doing things that they love. I can always tell what student's going to be successful. And it doesn't matter if it's in music or acting or dancing. They become great nurses, engineers. You can tell the ones that have drive to do what we're doing, they're going to go out and have drive. Some of them become dancers and singers and musicians and things, and just all walks of life. And for me to see that, that's to me makes me feel very accomplished. All right, let's finish this up. So this is my last question. What's your favorite book, movie of all time, and why did it speak to you so much? My favorite book is probably A Confederacy of Dunces. It's a little bit of everything. It's drama, humor, and life. It's a thin book. Look it up. They've been trying to make a movie out of it for 40 years and have never been able to do it. So it's a good book. A Confederacy of Dunces. Why it spoke to me is just hilariously funny but true. So anyway, movie. I'm a movie buff, so I can't give you one. I can give you three. Citizen Kane. I think anything Orson Welles directed and was in is a great movie. He was able to marry theater with movie, and they're really kind of at the opposite ends of the spectrum. But he brought those together, our stories of life are pretty much the same. If you read Shakespeare, it's the same as you'll find in Andy Griffith. They're all the same. The basic stories, it's how you can retell it and how you can bring it into our specific world. So Citizen Kane's one. Jaws, I know all the problems they had making Jaws and writing Jaws. They kind of wrote it as they went along. If you ever get a chance, go on the Google and try to see the original script and then look up some other scripts, how scripts are usually written. This was written totally different. It was just line by line. There was almost no direction because Spielberg and his people, they were writing it right then, and the writer of Jaws as well, whose name escapes me, but I'll remember it. Anyway, they wrote it as they went along, so there wasn't a lot of design of the actual script as far as format. But it's really the perfect movie. The way it has the antagonist, the way it you don't see the mysterious, fate is out there. You don't see it for a while. And then my third favorite of one I know is African Queen with Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. And if you get a chance to find that on Netflix or somewhere, watch it. It's a fantastic movie. So that's my 3-in-1 answer. So that's all I'm going to do today because I think you're probably bored stiff. But let me go over these. What's your philosophy in life? What would you... did I answer that one? Yeah, what's the one thing you'd like to change about yourself? Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert? What was the best phase of your life? I think I did is what you're doing now, what you wanted to do growing up. What makes you feel accomplished? And what's your favorite book, movie of all time, and why did it speak to you? So I hope you enjoyed my song in the beginning. I'll try to be posting more a little bit regularly. And I have some originals coming up as well. Shoot me some comments if there's anything you want me to sing. And I hope you'll take some time to answer some of these questions because I'd really like to find out what you think. So I hope the season's treating you right, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.